This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the studio and welcome to a new era of Edmonton Oilers hockey as a whole bunch of management changes have taken place over the past, since 7 this morning, and it has been an absolutely incredible day shaping the future of the Edmonton Oilers. What you need to know on the baseline, just so you understand what has happened today. Bob Nicholson has been reassigned, and now you've got a new name and some big roles here in Oilers country, where you've got, of course, Bob Nicholson moving on, Paul Coffey getting his official titles, and oh, by the way, Connor McDavid's player agent, Connor McDavid, right, big guy, now his agent, is the CEO in some fashion of the Edmonton Oilers. We'll break that all down in a second. I've got a tweet queued up here from Brendan Clack, great Nate RTA alumni, by the way. I will always shout out all the Nate RTA alums we have working in the Edmonton Oilers space because, hey, me, myself, right? But, friends, let's get to it, all right? It's a busy day, and I honestly don't know how to break this down. I was working for 8 hours today, and it's been a crazy one trying to keep track of it. I've had probably about 16, 17 tweets sent to me that all say the same thing, but all say something a little different. Anyway, Brendan's breakdown here, along with the Jeff Jackson news, some other Oilers titles to share. So we'll get through Paul Coffey and Bob Nicholson, then I'll kind of explain what Jeff Jackson is doing. But you've got Paul Coffey going to special advisor to the owner and chairman. So, right, this is officially official, as Brendan mentions. We've known this for a past while. He has this as an official title now. So Paul Coffey's been shadowy around the organization, hanging out kind of the same way Duncan Keith is kind of hanging out in the Oilers land, but now a little bit official. We give a full-on title to it, and it's on the website and everything, I'm sure, already. And then, of course, Bob Nicholson, who moves on from CEO of hockey operations. Bob Nicholson moves to special advisor and alternate governor of hockey operations. So he kind of moves into a more advisory role, kind of less hands-on, as I think many people have expected over the past year. The Oilers would be kind of moving past the Bob Nicholson era, and obviously that's what's happening here with the addition on that tweet below from Mr. Clack. The Oilers name Jeff Jackson as CEO of hockey operations. So what you need to know about this is he is now Ken Holland's direct boss. He's not really involved in much of all the really day-to-day hockey business, like you're talking player signing, stuff like that, trades. Don't expect him anywhere like that. But obviously what Jeff Jackson brings is a new face to the top of the hockey ops, and obviously to a familiar face for one player we want to keep around for a very long time. And now he's within the organization, ensuring that mutual goals are met between him, being Connor McDavid, and the organization, being Jeff Jackson, down. Also, what you need to know, I've read today somewhere, I can't remember it, but I think it was said somewhere along the ways from somebody within the Oilers organization today, that there is likely the potential that Steve Staios will join the Ottawa Senators once the purchase is official in that whole sense. So that again opens up what has been a can of worms today, talking about the succession plan after Ken Holland. We'll get into all that in a matter of moments, friends. I'm already 3.5 minutes into the video. I have failed myself, technically, but if you're new to the channel, what I want you to do is consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolany TV. If you're an Oilers diehard, hey, you know what? You just like knowing what's going on. You like a little bit of discussion with it. That's kind of what I bring. I like to talk a lot. I think most of you have figured that out. You see, right? 8-minute, 10-minute, 11-minute, 15-minute videos talking about a very minuscule thing oftentimes. Well, that's my specialty. Trust me, if you knew me in real life, you'd understand. But what you can also do is click that bell and get notified when videos and live streams get published. Obviously, as we get closer to hockey season, I got to push the bell notifications a little bit more, because what I learned in the playoffs is those live streams are absolutely amazing when the Oilers are doing special things in the playoffs or in a regular season game, coming back from 4-1, coming up and winning 7-2, whatever. It's a good time. Okay, back to today's events. Jeff Jackson, very influential player within the NHL agency market. He's been around, obviously, doing it for a long time. He's had a storied career. I have to pull up this. Obviously, I don't have enough time in the world to go looking at everything here, but Jeff Jackson's post-NHL career to date, He was a lawyer for about 8 years between 98 and '06. But the reason he is in this role where he is now, he does have experience within the hockey operations role of an NHL organization. And if you are anything like any other Oilers fan out there, you know every offseason the Oilers have to poach a couple former Maple Leafs. Well, he is the former AGM and Director of Hockey Ops for the Toronto Maple Leafs between 2006 and 2010. That actually, out of everything, is a stain on his resume, I guess you could say, because everything I remember about hockey in that time, the Leafs were not a very good team, but obviously the Oilers have a little bit more talent than just a team of bunch of guys and Matt Sundin. So that's a whole different story right there. 10 through 12, he was the owner, NHLPA agent at Next Level Sports Management. Then 12 to 18, partner at Hockey or Hockey Group, and then 18 to 23, EVP at Wasserman Hockey. And that, of course, was thrown out on Twitter by @OilerAlert. So just making sure I'm crediting where we're getting things. So that's where we find everything right now. Obviously, we've had that already covered, and where are we at right now? So I guess I did mention right off the top that Connor McDavid now has a new agent. The name you have to watch is Wasserman VP Judd Moldaver, I believe is how it's pronounced. He will oversee Connor McDavid's future contract talks with the Oilers organization. That very well might include Jeff Jackson, by the way, former Connor McDavid agent, now turned CEO of Oilers hockey operations. And Adam Phillips will handle his business endorsements. So keep that in mind. Adam Phillips, I believe, is a name that has been in Connor McDavid's life a little while, if I understand everything I've read today. Just scrolling through everything that I've had sent to me here today from the Bakersfield Contact is the fact that, that's pretty much everything there. I guess the other side of the updates today are the fact that we are getting very close to an Evan Bouchard deal, and if I'm not absolutely dummied by stupid luck, the Evan Bouchard deal should probably be announced tomorrow. Obviously, if you're a betting guy, the Oilers are going to allow Jeff Jackson to have his day as a member of the Oilers and then sign Evan Bouchard officially tomorrow, right? Get the announcement out. It's probably already signed. It was probably signed at 7 this morning, but then the Oilers were like, well, let's announce Jeff Jackson instead and keep everybody waiting so as we at least prolong the inevitable of the dog days of summer between August 5th and August 28th, right? That's where we're at? Okay, cool. So then we move on to the Evan Bouchard talks, which has Bob Stauffer on Oilers Now today, according to Oiler Alert. So keep this in mind. I didn't hear it officially, but I assume when I see it multiple times on Twitter that it's probably credible. And Oiler Alert has been fantastic at making sure the updates are out there. So not doubting anything there. But Evan Bouchard will come in somewhere between 3.8 and 4 million on a 2-year deal. And that's why I'm jumping off on that tweet instead of anything else reporting 2 years at 3.9. Because I want to go over a situation here that I talked with a couple people today about, and it's one of those weird ones where the Oilers kind of need to build an advantage for themselves in a plan B situation. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now, is just simply Evan Bouchard's deal very well could be 3.9, right? Bingo, split it down the middle of what Bob Stauffer's saying. Nice even number. $7.8 million over the course of the next 2 years. Bouchard's happy. We get the bridge deal. It's all good. Fine and dandy, right? That's ideally what we're thinking about right now. However, you flash back to last season and you look at that Ryan McLeod deal, okay? Just look at that 1 year, $893 and change. It was kind of a weird deal, right? Oh, that's kind of a weird number. Good on him to take a hometown discount for the team that drafted him and needs him to take a hit this year to get a raise next year. He did, right? Got a raise. But you look at kind of how those last few numbers in that salary mattered when it came to acquiring Matthias Ekholm. Obviously, what we're talking about is how you activate LTIR, how you maximize LTIR, how you accrue cap space, whole bunch of next level NHL numbers that the Oilers literally in every other NHL situation has a guy dedicated to 24 hours a day. Cool. All right. That's I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but every dollar counts. Now, the Oilers are not in an LTIR situation. However, they are tight against the cap this year, with any projection showing you from 150K to 400K, depending how you slice the roster, in available cap space with a 20, 21, 22-man roster. There's no hope of a 23-man roster, but you can go 22, 21, 20, depending how you slice the money. Obviously, Evan Bouchard's contract will dictate a lot of those last three numbers, whether it's 20, 21, or 22. You get them at a big discount, you probably can go 22. You get them at a lesser discount, it's likely 21. You get them at 4, it's most likely 20. However, when you're talking about rosters like that, it really does not allow you the room to make what you need to have happen on the roster happen in terms of icing a competitive team all the way through the season if injuries happen, if this happens, if that happens, right? And when you're talking about it, is when every dollar counts, you're talking about a couple $100,000 in cap space available with this configuration or that configuration. The reason I had this discussion with the Bakersfield contact and a couple other people today is I would not be surprised to see Bouchard's number be something weird, right? Not 3.9, but 3.86271, right? Something just looks odd, right? Doesn't multiply nice, doesn't divide nice, doesn't do anything nice. But it's integral to a plan B in case Darnell Nurse gets injured and you need to activate LTIR. In case somebody with a sizable contract gets injured, right? They're out for most of the year. They're out until the playoffs, whatever the case might be. And this isn't necessarily October. This isn't necessarily January. This could be a day before the deadline, whatever the case might be. But if you have that injury, just as with the Ryan McLeod contract last year, where there was a little foresight of, hey, we need this weird number. We ran all the simulations. This is how we need to do it, literally down to the dollar. And it worked down to the dollar for the Edmonton Oilers. So what I'm thinking is just if the Oilers have any foresight, and I mean, Ken Holland's been having a pretty good offseason so far. Last year was a miracle work there on the salary cap. I assume the Oilers have some kind of inkling that, hey, maybe we should have a plan B with the salary cap and LTIR in case we need it, right? You could not have foreseen Evander Kane's wrist injury. Something like that happens again this year, you need to have it available. And obviously when you start running all the roster calcs, you want to be at $0 against the cap to be able to activate your most LTIR. So I guess what I'm saying is weird number plays into some kind of Oilers plan B. That's what I'm talking about with Evan Bouchard. So I would not be stunned. That was a very long-winded way to say I would not be stunned if it was some odd number instead of just 3.9 on the dot. If it is, cool. I'm okay with that. Nothing against it. The other thing, though, is, again, the LTIR situation. What I find funny there is the Oilers could very well find themselves a way to manipulate it like Tampa did, manipulate it like Vegas did, right? There's very well, every team that's won the Cup over the past 5 years seems to have done it some way. Well, you know what? The Oilers, they're looking to win that Cup. Yeah, we could do that. We might not be proud of it, but we could do it. So that's where I'm just sitting here, kind of all these contracts, whether it be just Bouchard's, whether it be two more guys, whether it be one more guy, whatever the case might be, all these contracts going into the obviously season, preseason, training camp are going to be really interesting to watch the dollars. I will just say that much. Watch every single dollar the Oilers allocate to whatever players they sign from here on out, because it would be indication-wise that there may be some magical, weird combination with cap accrued over the course of the season and all these pieces put together and computers working their sciences and magic, that there is a plan B in case somebody gets hurt. So keep that in mind, friends. That is your update today. There's a lot to get through. I mean, I could talk for days probably about the Jeff Jackson news, but I'll leave it at that. You've had a full day of coverage already. You're tired of listening to me for 14 and a half minutes. So thank you so much for being along for the ride. I was just giddy to talk about the news, and I had to get it out. We'll have another video up later tonight, I promise you that, talking about some potential Oilers targets now that Jeff Jackson is the CEO of course, the Edmonton Oilers hockey operations. I'm up on out of here. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy dinner. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.